That is the news out of the United Kingdom right now from the royal family and on Twitter just moments ago. It is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty the Queen has announced the death of her beloved husband, His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. His Royal Highness passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle. Prince Philip has died, aged 99. Let's head out to London and catch up with a good friend of ours, Guy Johnson, Bloomberg Markets anchor, joining us from Queen Victoria Street. Guy, the response in London right now?
I think, to a certain extent, this was something that was anticipated. He was 99. He'd been married to the Queen for 7 decades. There will be no state funeral, though, John. That was his wish. So there will not be the formal national holiday. There will not be the formal state funeral. That was down to him. That was his decision that he made. He has been at the centre of the British establishment ever since he married the Queen as she was to become in 1952. Back in 1947, he was a successful naval officer. He has been at her side ever since, and as a result of which, this is a day of deep sorrow for this country. The royal family, despite its recent problems, remains at the centre of the British establishment, at the centre of the nation. And also the Commonwealth. So a day of deep sadness, I think, for so many people, Tom.
Guy Johnson, Queen Elizabeth will be 95 on April 21st. I believe that's in 13 days, if my British math is correct. It is a generational change, a long time in coming. How does Prince Charles wake up this morning? How does life change for the Prince of Wales?
I think Prince Charles wakes up this morning with a heavy heart, Tom. His father has just died. I think he is probably looking backwards, not forwards. I think he's probably remembering his life with his father. It was a relationship that obviously defined both of them. But what happens next to the Queen, I think, is probably a story for another day. As you say, she is a few steps behind in age of Prince Philip, but nevertheless, I think this is something that the nation is not really ready to accept at this point. She has stabilised the royal family in a way over many generations that I think has had a huge impact, not only on the family, but also of the nation. She is the longest-serving monarch this country has ever had, Tom.
When did he become British? I mean, you know, we all watch The Crown, and, you know, I'm a rank amateur at this, Guy Johnson. I think what you and John Farrow are doing here is absolutely phenomenal, the authenticity of what you've lived your entire life. When did he become British? From as he said, he was from the Balkans, as simple as that.
Yeah, he was born to the Danish and the Greek royal families. He was born in Greece. It wasn't an easy transition, but he became the husband of the then-to-be Queen. It was a period of huge turbulence, Tom, because of the abdication, and we'd been through that. Her father obviously became king, and then she, in 1952, 1953, when the coronation was, became queen. It was a period of turbulence, and she provided huge amounts of stability around that. He became part of that establishment. He became part of that firm, as it is known here in the United Kingdom, and provided the Queen with somebody to be a confidant, and I think that was a huge part of his role in this whole process. And he's been with her ever since. And you look at the stabilising force that she has provided. He has been part and parcel of that mixture, Tom. He was, as you can see in all of these pictures, right there with her at all of those critical events. And I think the country and the Commonwealth and the world, I think, will look back with great fondness at what he achieved. It wasn't without sort of difficulties along the way, but I think most marriages probably experience that, and I think certainly he provided the stability that she was looking for, Tom.
If you're just joining us on Bloomberg Radio and Bloomberg Television, the death of Prince Philip at 99 years old. John Farrow?
Tom retired from royal duties back in 2017, aged 99. Guy, in many ways, anticipated, but I don't think that diminishes or removes the sadness from the moment. It's an important moment overall, more broadly, for the royal family, which has found itself in the news for all the wrong reasons, particularly over the last 12 months, Guy. We need to talk about that now. This is a man who's been a permanent feature of this family for much of the last 60, 70 years. Now we need to talk about the future and the royal family's position, not only in the United Kingdom, but also in the Commonwealth too. What does that look like in the next decade, Guy? What does that look like in the next 20 years? And you and I don't have the answers to that, but that's the conversation right now.
Yep. I think there is a discussion that has been increasing over the last 12 months, John, as a result of what has gone on within the royal family, about a slimmed-down royal family, which is something that you see in many other nations that have royal families, that you slim the royal family down to the core of what that family is, and as a result of which provide more focus and more clarity on what their role is. Because I think as you have this extended family occupying a undefined role, I think things get more difficult. And I think there is certainly an active discussion about what will happen next, who will make that decision, and exactly how tight a group we're talking about. But I think that discussion is certainly something that I think is going to be with us for quite some time.
Guy, thank you. It's good to catch up, sir. Guy Johnson over in London. No doubt he'll continue our coverage a little bit later this morning. And no doubt we'll hear from heads of states around the world with response to the death of Prince Philip. Just 30 minutes ago, we heard from the royal family out on Twitter that it is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty the Queen has announced the death of her beloved husband, His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. His Royal Highness passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle. Aged 99, Prince Philip has died.